look at market structure and just what you're supposed to be looking at in the markets. Right now I'm literally building this document, so you're gonna build it with me and you begin. Bro, this have to be the funniest thing, but I say we're gonna build this document and did this entire video for 30 something minutes only to realize
we not touch the document.
but yo, when you watch this video here that we just did, then you're gonna realize why I didn't even think to go back over here. But what I'm gonna do is actually finish this right now and create this, and I am going to put it in the Discord for you guys. So when you do come over here, if you do come over here, that would be great. And for those who are watching it that are a part of the Discord, obviously you're gonna be in the docs channel, so you can actually use this and have a better understanding of how to use it. Anyways, this is a visual representation of how we're using it right now. I'm using UJ as an example here. You can see when the video continues right now. But yeah, big up on yourself, but guidance. I'm not going to really enjoy this video. All right. So this video going to be really informative in how to use Primora, how to look at market structure, and just what you're supposed to be looking at. This is a very good approach to learning the system, learning the indicator, how to use it, when to use it. Well, you're going to be using it all the time pretty much, but the use case and how to apply it is what's important. So this is the prime example of what we look for right now. This is what I'm going to show you right now based on this, and it's happening on repeat over and over again. So Primora is an indicator that I created. It's a trend indicator. If you don't know what it is, you have a lot of variations. You can change it up to do whatever you want it to do. So like you can change the trigger MA length, which will trigger what the plots are. The plots are being calculated based on the highs and the lows that are created, but using a beautiful integration of the MAs that gives you these plots that you're going to trade through. I'm going to show you exactly what that market structure looks like and how you're supposed to approach it. Very simply put. This here is a game changer right here. It's a divergence filter, so the divergence between the MAs will show strength, and that's when I want to be trading, not in between that time. So in other words, during consolidation periods, I don't want to be trading during that time. I don't want any plots to be made around that time. I only want the highest probability of a trend continuation trade or trend establishment trade, and that typically comes when you see a separation of the MAs doing something like this. You obviously can see power in there, and that's when this will now start to trigger to deliver plots, right? Yeah, so that's pretty much what that is. And then obviously now you have your sessions that you can put into here as well. So you can have, if you want to trade during liquid sessions, you can. If you trade on a higher time frame, that's irrelevant, so you have it there if you want it or not. Style, obviously you get to change how these look. You can take off the MAs and keep just the triggers just to clean it up even more, and it's super clean. You know which ones you want to get into, like how you trade through the highs and trade through the highs and let it run. Or you can even just eliminate, okay, you're in a bullish market right now, you don't want to see bearish triangles should they pop up, but based on the system they won't pop up. So they'll only pop up when that bias is there. So that's what saves you and gets you into trades like this, instead of looking at support and resistance and other stupid systems that just don't serve you. All right, so that's the kind of power you have with Primora, the indicator here. I created an indicator way before. It's called Annovate. Me and a guy actually called Ano, named Ano, is the main creator of the indicator because of my system, and he decided to try to make an indicator to indicate what I was looking for repeatedly, and he made it. And from there I took that and designed it into the way how I would want to see it, and from there we've just been running with it ever since. So that's the reason why I call it Annovate, because it was an innovative approach to my idea, and then he created it, so Annovate. And now from that Annovate indicator, we've spun off from that to make an even better indicator around the exact same system. The system has not changed. All we did was make a 2.0 version of what Annovate is, and that's what Primora is, which is what I'm showing you about right now. So from here I can get into the system itself and what we're looking for in terms of let me actually copy this. What we look for in terms of the system and how it's supposed to play out, what we want it to do, what we want to see before we get engaged and involved into the markets, right? So Put simply, if you don't know, I'm just carrying you back through basics so you can understand it fully, and this will be beneficial to you. That's how a trend looks in a very simple format. You trade in through the highs, you trade in through the highs, you have higher highs, higher lows, right? Very simple. Higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high. The thing with this is the fact that they don't show you necessarily where this is coming from. So now you're just looking for this all over the place. How I want to change your mindset right now and how you look at this is very simple, and I'm going to do it very easily. This is how you're supposed to look at it. It's coming down from a market, a bearish market, so roughly a bearish market that starts to break structures to come back up, and that's what we start to look for. So very simply put, you may have something like this coming up, coming up, coming up, coming up, and then it breaks down. Right, breaks down, breaks down, breaks down, and then breaks back up. So this is what we want to see for trend continuation. That is the key. Here's what that looks like. Boom, 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 trend continuation. And how we're signifying that through the power and the divergence of the MAs, which shows and signifies power. So that's where we can get into to ride waves like this. You understand? So just showing you. It's the same thing right here. That's the reason why this one triggered. Think about it. Bam, bam, flush going up, and then flush back down, coming down, and then going back up to start reestablishing the trend again. Now this trend right here could have definitely continued straight to the upside, but guess what? It just didn't, and that's trading, right? But don't get confused about this part here. All you have to do again is wait until that starts to put back in more power again. So that's the system being played on repeat over and over and over again. This here can be labeled as a model, and this is what you're trading always with this system here, because this is the only thing, this is the only way to look at a trend. This is the only way to look at how a trend works. It comes from a downside, which is the downside. It plays and starts to give higher highs and higher lows. Boom, breaking structure, higher highs and higher lows, and then it continues in that trend continuation. Where do you think this came from? This came also from something coming from probably higher than here, or just lower than here, and then coming back up. And then once that trend fails, it goes, resets, and starts a new trend. Very simply put. Now your duty is to literally trade through these highs right here. So this is the high, this is the high right here, this is the high, and you're trading through the highs. So very simply put, boom, that's what you're doing. What happened in the room there? So that's just what you're doing, right? Very simply put. And then your stop loss is below the lows. Simple. And you're doing this on repeat. So you're trading through the highs. Why Primora is excellent, because you see the triangles. That's me showing you where your highs are that you're supposed to trade through. So obviously, if you look at this right here, this is a high you would have been trading through. I'm just going to outline them real quick. That's the high you would have been trading through. That's the high you would have been trading through. This is one. This is one. This is one. Yeah, baby. This is one. And then this is one, obviously. This one you wouldn't, because it obviously came and closed below the MAs. So there are rules beside all of this, and I'm just going to show you, because remember, this is what the prime example of what we're looking for, but I have to give you the basis and the basics to how structure works and how trading works, and then you can understand why the indicator is so powerful. So from here, it's very simple, right? You understand that that's what we're doing. We're trading through the highs, and your lows are the lowest point that was created before being traded through, so you can understand exactly how structure works, why higher highs and higher lows are how they are. Yeah. Oh, this one here. Yeah, cool. Yeah, so you can understand why higher highs and higher lows are the way how they are. It's a higher high or a higher low in a bullish market. It's very simple. This one here again got disrupted because it closed below the MAs, so you're not interested in any of that. You continue from here, and then this one here closes below here, so you didn't care about that anyways. You're waiting for another plot, and this is your low right here. So if you check it out, if you entered with that and put your low below here, that never does return. That gets you into this trend right here. This one never does return. This one here, you'd have taken one loss, you'd have taken two losses, and then this you wouldn't have gotten into, this you wouldn't have gotten into. So you'd have taken two losses and two runners. right? And then the third one that forms, which showed power again. You see the separation of the MAs, separation of the MAs. Even right here, it was kind of erected and going up. You can understand that, right? So this one would have worked. This one would have not worked. You understand? You can see kind of how it works. Then this one here would have never came back again. This one here came back. This one here would have never gotten you in. Sorry, this one actually closed below, so you wouldn't have been in that. So that means you wouldn't have been in this one either, right? Or you would have. Actually, yeah, you would have. And then this one right here, bam, bam. So you can see the whole trend. Look at this one right here, beautiful, neat. And this one here just takes right off. And there's supposed to be another one here. Yep, there you go. And you see the same thing happening again. Flush, start to build up, brick, and then boom. Once the power is there, because the divergence is there, it will tell you, okay, power is here. Boom, and now you push. You understand? Very simple. So that's exactly how you're looking to trade. So let me show you now how we're looking at this and how I would have gotten into the trade. I mean, I literally just showed you, but just in case, right? Just in case you didn't get it fully. Put simply, I want to see my MAs do something like this. I want to see my MAs. Okay, hold on. Before I even do that, yeah, actually, I can just hide this and then I'll show you itself. So you can see price and how price is behaving and how it's moving and stuff like that. And I tell you to wait until the MA separate. If you simply do this, right click on price and press hide, you can kind of see exactly where the strength is. So the reason why these plots came is because boom, MAs are separated and it's starting to erect. It's starting to go upwards. You don't want to trade when the MA is going down or going sideways, because that simply means obviously you have a lot of this happening, right? And you don't want that. You have a lot of price just playing around here before taking off to continue in a trend, and you don't want that. You want to only be involved when it's starting. So here's the beautiful thing. Here's the MA pushing up. Here's the other MA pushing up. Both of them are erected. So now the plots that you get will be the best ones to take once it's erected. So this one you might not have taken. This one you definitely probably would have taken. Probably got stopped out. I don't know. When we reveal price again, then we'll be able to see what happened. Then look at these again. Both are erected. This is going sideways, you don't care about it. This is going down, you don't care about it. This is going down, you don't care about it. And I have it color coded as well. So when price closes above here, it turns white. When price closes below there, it turns green. And I have the faster MA and the slower MA based on what I want right now. This is the 50 SMMA. This is the 12 SMMA, and that's what it's calculating on. If I change the top one to any other number, like 6 for example, it'll start to calculate these triangles based on the 6. So now you get what I'm saying, how powerful it is, because now you can adjust this to whatever you want. The key principle is for you to understand how to trade structure, and then you can make the necessary tweaks as you please. Because no matter what you do with the system, this remains the same and true about trends and about structure. You have higher highs and higher lows, and however that seems to want to play out, whether it looks like this, whether it looks like this and comes down and then goes again, you don't know exactly how it's going to play out. This can play right here for a while and still create a new high. That's just how price works. You know what I mean? This looks very normal actually. And then remember, once power takes off, that's where you want to be involved. This is all consolidation area. Yeah, so that's the gist of it all. Let's see if we can get price back. Here we go. All right, so this is what we're looking for. As soon as I can look in this and see, price started to push up, MA started to separate, price started to flush out. As soon as that started to happen, I can start to look for trades to go higher. So immediately I could do this and get on this and realize I'm only showing you on one time frame. No, it doesn't really matter what the time frame is. All right, it's all the same. So boom, you get into that right there, and then you, let's say you were going for 1 to 2 to break even, you wouldn't have been break even yet. So literally in the power, in the strength, that's when you would have gotten your break even. And then from here, price never returns. And if you know UJ right now, UJ is way up here. And this is exactly how you get into trends that can move up to 1 to 36 easily, or those kind of stuff. All of this is all the same, and all of this is cool. Guess what? When this happened right here, this area right here, which is the exact same area, kind of like what we're looking at right here, or like right here, is where you would have wanted to be involved. And this move that happened could have been this, but it just wasn't, because price ended up playing around here for a bit. Remember that I showed you the example? Price came up, blah, 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 before creating another high. Where is that, how that high coming from? Right here. You can see that, right? Because this is where the low is. And then it started to break up, start to play around in here. So everybody's trying to short here, everybody's trying to buy here. What it's doing is building liquidity. This is all a liquidity zone. Bam. That's all that is. And now we keep on moving up by squares. In other words, liquidity points. Here we go. That's one. This is one. And some people are looking on this as support and resistance. So now somebody in their life right now is waiting on this to return down in here to get some trade, and which will never happen. It can come down here, play around, go up for a little bit, and then what will happen is it stops them out, and then it starts to chop around right here before doing what? The same thing that we say we would anticipate and want, which is price to play around, burst and go higher and start to create higher highs, and it can even play around even more right here. But remember, don't cross that low, and then boom, gives the power and just goes way up. You understand? Gives the power and just goes way up. That's just how trading works. So hopefully now you understand how to use Primora, how Primora is being used, and what we are looking for in terms of strength, and just making the right choices in terms of how we're choosing which plots to go through. We're going through the ones again. Like I said, you see price moving sideways down here, and you see the MA moving sideways or going down. You see this plot here, you're probably not even interested, although this one here started to erect. So if it's not fully erecting, you don't want to be a part of that. Here's this one right here. Even if you decided to do that, guess what? This one wasn't even erected enough, and plus it's too close to that 50 MA. So you would have just ignored that anyways. Now this is a beautiful one. You see this price start to pick up and push, and then you get into here, right? Very simply put. So this is the one that I actually would have been in on. I was just showing you over here, like over on this side, the other stuff that you could have gotten into, which you would have only taken 2 losses, and then you would have gotten into 2 runners, right? This one, if you just waited and had the patience and looked for like what I said, which is how you would be trading, you just be waiting on this one instead of trading in these ones. This is the one that you would have gotten into, that would have gotten you into this trade and never for price to return. Look at this. What does this look like? Same thing, right? You see price start to push up. Sure, this is one that you definitely could have gotten into. That one just didn't work. They're not all going to work, but the likelihood of you getting into a trend or a bigger push is likely with this indicator. Here's this one here, because you see that slight, you can see the same repeat. Look at this. Came close, start to spread. That first one is the one. Came close, start to spread. That first one is the one you want to get into, right? And the final key point to this is like realizing that, guess what? If the key point to realizing that if you see price or you see the MA is close together, just wait until you have a breakout. That breakout will be the low-key almost all the time the determinant of where the trend is going next. Like this right here came down. Once you see that popped up and then you start to go, you didn't see your MAs cross, so you're just chilling. But now you know likelihood is going to be bullish, and then now you start to see what prices, the MAs move away. That first one, you gotten into that, you'd have been in this trend right here going up. Boom. You see price come back over. You see price start, you see the MA start to spread. You gotten into this one, you'd have gotten stopped out right away. Boom. And from there, you're just chilling. That's one way to look at this. The second way to look at all of this is, okay, if it taps your MA, boom, that's the way you want to get in. Or sorry, that's where you want to scale down. Because I didn't even get to the aspect of you scaling down at the time frames yet, because this thing is fractal. Don't forget that this is on the daily. I execute on the 2 minute. So imagine what we're looking on this as a 1 to 16 or like a 1 to 30 right here. On a 2 minute chart would be berserk. Let me just show you something right here. We already see exactly what happens right here, that push, but we got the signal down in there, right? Very simply put. So let's just say we got that signal down in here on the daily. What could have happened, right? I'm going on to my 30 minute. Look at this. It's all the same. It's all fractal. I know this right now blowing somebody mind, right? So let's just say boom, that was that. And let me lock this. And apart from locking it, let me make it way smaller so we can actually see what we want to see, right? Oh yeah, we're on the 30. I won't even get to the 2 minute yet. So let me show you exactly what that is. So on the 30 minute, this is where we would have gotten in. Let me put that to that area. Boom, because more than likely this was the one that went down, and then no created a 30-minute plot up here, or sorry, the daily plot right here, and then no continued. This is where a stop loss would have been, and that's how you could have looked on that. If I was looking at this on the 30-minute chart, and then the daily was over here. So let me actually just help us all out here real quick, and just put this on dual, and then I put this on the daily, right? And I looked at this. Guess what? So in here, I knew we had that pause, and this is exactly where that plot would have came. So therefore, I'm in here looking at price. Guess what? I more than likely would have seen this. This is the first one, and guess what? MA is erecting and going up. MA is erecting, going up. That first plot came. I would have gotten in right there, and then guess what? My stop loss is below that low. Guess what it does? Never returns. It never returns. Look at it over here. So now where this big old stop loss is on the daily is right here. That goes way up to, let's see what that goes up to, 1 to 30. Now if you did that and scale down on the 30 minute and just let this thing run, that's a 1 to 300, call it that. 1 to 299. It's what it is. And guess what? This is actually where you would have scaled down now to the 2 minute. So let's just, because it's fractal, like showing you guys the power of this thing is crazy. It is crazy. So I lock this one, and let me make this one smaller as well now. I can't, oh yeah. So boom, and then I pull this over here, show you where I would have gotten into, and I lock this one as well. And now we look on this, we do another replay and do the exact same thing. Fractally, I just did the exact same thing, right? So from the daily went down to the 30, and now we're down here. So now, yeah, let me, come on, man. Anyways, so let me put that back up there. Okay, cool. So now guess what I would have been doing? So from the 30 now, remember this is where we got in on the 30. Now we're going down into here to see how we would have gotten in on the 2 minute, because that signal came. Right, so it's fractal. So let's look and see where we would have gotten in. So great. On the 2 minute chart now, this is where it kind of gets different, because now how I would have looked on this is changing the settings and changing my divergence filter, because the divergence filter is now applied to the higher time frames. So you change this, you manipulate this. This is so cool, right? You change this, you manipulate this. So like for the lower time frames, I would go 0.01 for the lower time frames, which would reveal back my places that I want to get in, right? Because it's showing that divergence of 0.01 per MA. Remember, don't lose sight of that. This is where we would have gotten in on the 30 minute. Hold on, unlock. This is where we would have gotten in on the 30 minute. And now guess what? On the 2 minute, this is where we would have gotten in on. We see that power coming up. Then we see it trade right through. And then now that low is by that candle right here. Let's just see if it returns. And it does. Okay, cool. So this one does. Great. So now the max potential of this one would have only ran to 2.54. Isn't this beautiful? So straight up, it's still good, right? So that one would have ran to 2.54. This one came up, erected, did not validate, so we don't care about it. This one starts to come up, erected. Guess what we are doing? Hopping in this one. Stop loss is below here. And now from here, we continue going up. Look at these other ones that would have made it as well. You can see that. Anyways, guess what this one does? Never returns. Ever. I don't think so. I don't think so. Does it? There's a signal just now that came in now too. So let's just hop over to the 30-minute time frame and see what that looks like. And see if it does return. Never returns. Cool. So now we can obviously see how when you scale this fractally, what this starts to look like. Boom, here it is. So the very first one, and remember where this goes to. Don't forget. Sorry, excuse me. That first one went to 1 to 30. That second one went to 1 to 299. I remember. And this third one with the 2-minute entry, yeah, you can kind of see where this thing going. Up to 1 to 873. I all forgot where the camera was just now. 1 to 800 and something. And I just try and show you. Look. If I take this off, remember, price never does return there. If I go back on the daily, guess what? See? Oh, so I lied, because guess what? This thing would have went even further. As you can see, I was just tapping it out right there. So this goes to 1 to 1000. Somebody gonna see this now and be like, no, that's crazy, it's a lie. Well, I mean, you just saw it for yourself. You saw me scale down, you saw me look at it, you saw me get into this thing and show you. That same one would have went 1 to 39 instead now. And then what about this third one? That's the 1000. That's the 39. And then there's another one in here somewhere. There's another one in here that I can't manipulate. Yeah, somewhere. Anyways, yeah, so you can see the whole power of this. And remember, all we did from the daily was just wait until we saw the power, saw this, and then continued. And easily, this could have just failed down. But this is the easiest way to signify that strength is inside of the market. And guess what? This is the same thing again. And guess what? You'd have been bullish on this, even if when you became bearish, it's all the same, right? So it's not just a one direction thing. So if I invert the chart, it's all the same. These would have been your plots to go lower. Yeah, hopefully you found some value in this. If you want the indicator, obviously you're gonna have to join the Discord and be able to have access to both Primora and Annovate. So let me just show you Annovate real quick. If I just get rid of this and I show you Annovate, you'll be able to see that Annovate is a very cool indicator as well. It's just the fact that this one here used to give me a lot more signals, and it was just on a basic note of giving me signals, the same signals, but it's just following a certain criteria, which is the reason why I said Primora is a level up from that now, because now we are being a lot more subjective into which ones we want to get involved in. So like, that's where you see I don't want to get involved in like these ones right here. I would rather get involved in there, which I think Primora kind of saves me a little bit more from. Let me put it back on. Oh, so not only does it just save me a little bit more from it, but it gets me in ones that I definitely would have even cleared break even already too. All right, and it's just following a different set of rules that will keep me into trades a whole lot better. That's what it is. So Primora and Annovate are pretty much very similar in terms of like where it would give me the plots, but it's not. But Annovate just gave me a lot more signals. As you can see, like in this downside right here, I'm getting still bullish signals. So that means I would have been buying. Let me see, Primora, I don't think, yeah, so Primora doesn't give me any bullish signals at all. So I know that I wouldn't be bullish here, you know? So those are the type of small intricacies that makes this indicator way much better than most of anything that you've probably witnessed in your life. And remember, this happens on all time frames and everything. You saw me go down to the 2-minute, you saw me use the 30-minute and the daily, and that's pretty much what I'm using right now. I can change this up anytime, I can fluctuate, I can just do whatever, right? Because I understand how market structure, go back to the beginning of the video, I understand how market structure works, I understand how all of this works in order for me to be able to get into the market and possibly get into a trending market versus going into a market that's sideways, right? So it's not about you being impatient and saying, oh, well, I'm not getting enough trades, I'm not getting enough. I would rather wait and then get into like the likelihood trades of them running than to just being here trying to snipe something and trying to make up a story. Because the reality is, you'll be able to go in here and make any story and all of it will be true. That's the reason why you get into trades you shouldn't be in on, and then you say, oh, I'm buying now, oh, all of a sudden I'm selling now, oh, you know what I mean? So don't get caught up in the foolishness, in the hype. Just follow the rules, understand the market structure, and then from there, you know, yeah, get tools that make your life way easier. So this tool right here that I created makes your life way much easier. Now all you have to do is literally wait for your plots. The beautiful thing that I haven't even mentioned yet, which I'm about to say that and then finish this video. When you right click, you add an alert on whatever pair you want, or if you have a collection or a group of pairs and stuff, you press that condition, Primora, right? Primora, boom, unified triangle alert. So whether it's bullish or bearish, it'll send you the trigger, the alert. You can put it whatever time frame you want. Press once per bar. Make sure this is on open-ended alert. So anytime there's a bullish plot created, it sends you a message. You can also tailor the message as well. Very simply put, this is what you need. This is very simple. You understand? Because now with the alert set, I already have mine set, so it's just over here. Me having the alert set means that, guess what? I don't have to be here by the charts every single day. I can just wait until I get an alert. You saw one come in early on Ethereum, I believe, right? Once the alert comes in, then I know it's my time to get into the market and look at it. Not get into it, but look at it. Because once I look at it, I'll either be able to tell, okay, this is power coming in. I can see my MAs rising. I build some confluences for myself. I say, okay, the MAs are rising. I see power coming in. I see that price already pushed up before and came back down and just started to build new highs and new highs, higher highs and stuff. So now I see the strength coming in. I'm getting in on this trend. Then I see it come back down. Boom, I do the exact same thing over and over again. But I just wait until I get my plots. So even on this, from I got this plot and I got into this market right here, say I got in and this went up and came back down, this only triggered again 7 to 1 days after. But that's perfectly fine. You know why? Because if I was trading in between any of this, I would have just been losing money. So don't be stupid. Don't be like, oh, well, that's 7 to 1 days. Oh my God, that's too long. It can never be too long to make money, bro. It can never be too long to not lose money. That is what you need to think about. And then also remember, you can switch this up to any time frame. So you can have your highest time frame be the be the 15 minute, then you trade on the 1 minute and the 5 second or something like that, and you'll have trades every day. That's the difference. I'm saying if you want to be sustainable, or if you want to look on whatever time frame, just be patient. Patience for the plots, patience for when it comes back and either tops and then goes. As you can see, once it tops the trigger MA that I have here, it goes top, go, top, comes back up and goes, tops, comes back up and goes, tops, comes back up and goes, tops, shoots up, tops, shoots up, tops, then breaks down. So now you're not a part of it anymore. Now and it comes back down below this one, so you're definitely not a part of it anymore. Comes back up, tops, shoots up, comes back down, creates another plot, whatever you want to do. So either you tap or either you just want to trade through it. Boom. It's very simple. I made a very simple system, and guess what? Remember, this thing goes. And remember, this thing started to happen from down here. Don't forget. So if I were trading, so when I first started bot trading in my entire life, was back here, right back here. And this is before I started my deep studies. This is before I found Mentafex. This is before I found any other thing. I literally was putting $500 back right here to buy, literally to buy, and I didn't understand market structure, none of that yet. And then this is what happened. This is what happened. Price came up, chopped me out, and then continued. But I wouldn't have understood any of this had I had this system right now back then. Listen to me. MA is rising. Power right here doesn't close below the MAs on the daily chart. I am in there. And don't forget what we did earlier. What do you think I'm doing in here on the 30-minute chart? What do you think I'm doing in here on the 2-minute chart? Trust me. And if that one way up here went to 1,000 at the end of it, because remember, this from right here to right here went to 1,000, what do you think this would be? This would be something like this, looking like this, but way tighter too. So more than likely on the 30-minute, this is what that entry would look like. Something here, something in here, something like that. You know what I mean? Maybe on this part, on this candle right here, something, and just never does return. You understand? Anyways, I know you got some value in this, and I appreciate you watching this. If you did, then that means you making sense, bro. You know what I mean? Yeah. So super excited about what we've been able to create in the past couple months alone. and this shit has just been amazing since, right? This is me even using Primora before what it is right now. So you can imagine like what we're gonna be doing in the next couple of weeks, next couple of days, next couple of months, right? It's literally just about to go crazy right now.